live, back in effect for another great show there. Hope everybody is doing well and having a great Saturday so far and a great weekend so far. I want to welcome you to the show. My name is Don Terrell, and this is The Color of Motion, where I like to say stories come in all shades, and I highlight people of color in diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I love, love, love so much. You know the drill. Jump in, comment, say hey, where you're tuning in from, while I make sure everything is broadcasting like it should, as well. And like I said, hopefully everybody has had a great week and super excited for this episode of The Color of Motion. Been looking forward to it for a long time, and we're going to try and get through this pretty good because I guess it's been having a little technical difficulty. So hopefully we're going to make it through this without any hitches for sure. So, like I said, I definitely want to hear from you. Again, thank you for being viewing the show and tuning in. Like I said, I'm always grateful for all my viewers and just you guys showing up. Like I said, our goal is to make this the best show that we possibly can, make it engaging, make it fun, and make it informational as well. So definitely, like I said, I want to hear from you, and like I said, let me know what you think about the show. Trying a few, new things, new camera angles, that type of thing. Show you a little bit behind the scenes of how it's put together. Some people kind of find that interesting, so thought I would show that as well. But like I said, just super excited to be here today to bring you another great episode. Make sure that you get into the Facebook group community. Definitely want you to get plugged in. Jump on over to facebook.com/group/the color of motion. It's growing rapidly, and I definitely want you to be a part of this community for sure. So thank you, thank you, thank you for everybody that, becomes a part of the community. So I appreciate that. Like I said, if you want to make sure that you connect with me on all my social channels here, definitely want to hear from you. Let me know what you think of the show. If there's any guests that you want me to try and get on, I definitely want to hear that from you as well. Like I said, we do stream from my LinkedIn page, YouTube, and the Facebook group as well. But I always kind of highly encourage everybody to kind of hop on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified, give a thumbs up, comment on the videos because that definitely helps, and check out some of the other past great episodes that we've had so far. All right, all right. Like I said, do that for sure. Also, like I said, if you want to support the show or one of those ones that really wants to help out, support, allow me to continue to create content, help me level up the show. Hey, I always love a great cup of coffee. So, buy me a cup of coffee, and I would appreciate that. Buymeacoffee.com/Don Terrell. There's a membership there for $5 a month, or you can pay for the year for $50. It'll definitely, like I said, go a long way in helping me to continue to level up the show for sure. As always, I do want to thank our sponsor for the show, DG Graphics. They help us look good. They do all the animations, overlays, graphics, and just if you're a business or brand and definitely looking to level up your show, or looking to start a live stream show of your own, it will definitely help you look good and get your message out there in a great way. So thank you, DG Graphics, for being a sponsor of the show. All right. Like I said, with that, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. Like I said, this is interview I've been looking forward to for a long, long time. Super talented artist that I can't wait to have on. Great friend, and just excited about diving into his journey and what he is doing, for sure. So again, like I said, engage with the show. Throw in some comments. I definitely want to hear from you, and I'm sure I guess would love to hear from you as well. So oh, with that, like I said, we got a lot of great things happening with the show, and coming up this year. Like I said, season 2 is rolling along for sure. All right, let's get this party started. My next guest was born in Brazil, or he's from Brazil, but born and raised in, and I hope I don't, I'm not going to try and butcher this up, but born and raised in Limoeiro do Norte, Ceará. When he was younger and fell in love with comics, it was impossible for him to become a professional until he found out that in the same city lived Ed Beans, a famous comic book artist. He went over to his house to show his drawings, and from there, he was constantly taking his drawings to show him, and he started teaching him and helping him to improve his art. He became his assistant and then was learning and working while being paid for it. It was in 2004 that he got his first professional gig, and in the following years, he did works for small publishers and independent creators. And in 2007, he had the chance to draw his first Red Sonja short story. And in 2008, he became a regular artist on the monthly book, and for years he drew the characters, not only on the monthly book, but also in the miniseries, one shots, and crossovers. Please, everybody, help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Walter Geovani. Whoa. Ooh, there we go. Walter.
Hey everybody,
All right. Super, super glad to
thank
have
you
you
for having
on.
me.
No, thank you for
Well,
being on the show. Like I said, we connected sometime last year, and it's been a long time coming for sure, getting you on the show, and
yeah,
just super, super excited about sitting down and talking with you for sure. I'm going to throw some comments up in here for sure. And I definitely want to, while the name isn't showing up, I definitely want to see if I can see who it is so I can give the proper shout out to it. Ah, Mr. AXXIXGP. Appreciate you tuning in and checking out the show for sure. So, just excited about having you, join us. So, please make sure that, like I said, you engage with it. Like I said, Walter, just super happy to have you on. I appreciate you taking the time to join me and talk about what you're doing. Like I said, when I first saw your work, I was just so impressed with it, and knew I had to reach out and connect with you. Uh,
thank you, Don. Yeah, um, I've been sharing when I started on LinkedIn. I didn't share too much of my work, but I thought that it would make sense to share there because I'm an artist. I work with image, so it doesn't make sense to share words too much. So talk less, write less, and show more of my artwork.
well, yeah, you definitely got to show your work so people can see that. And we're going to take a look at some of his work. But that's definitely how, like I said, you get known, you get visible, you get work in, people see what you do, and like I said, you gotta use the platforms that are out there to really showcase what you're doing. And like I said, you do some amazing work there. Um, my first question is, what it was it about comic book illustration that you love so much?
Um, well, I don't think I can explain with words, but I'll try. It's the visual. It's I fell in love with the image of the structure. It's like when I'm looking at a comic book, a page. It's like I mean when people who love Picasso painting, or any other painter. I think that people feel something, and it's exactly what I feel when I see a comic book page, when I'm staring at a comic book. It's like when I listen to music. Think about you listen to your favorite music, and you have that feeling. I have the same feeling looking at the page. Just look, not actually reading the story, but looking at the page, and it's a passion. I don't I don't have
No,
a logical explanation for that.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand. So, when you were coming up, what were some of the comic books that you kind of read and enjoyed?
Yeah, first of all, and kid, I didn't have money to buy comic books, so my love was cartoons.
Okay.
Was basically cartoons. But the first comic I bought when my father bought to me, it was I'm moving on here because I'm gonna recharge the cell phone. It was a Superman. Sorry for the darkness
Uh,
here, but it was a Superman comic book,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it that's it. It was the love, the passion for the image of a comic book that made me buy this comic book, and it was art by Dan Jurgens,
Oh, okay.
you know. So I remember that I wasn't a fan of Superman. I, di- I didn't
Yeah,
I didn't
that's a
like
first.
Superman. So when I saw that comic book, I just I don't know. It amazed me, the art. So I bought, even not like Superman. I bought the that comic book, and it was my first. But the change, big change in my life was when I bought the an X-Men
mm.
comic book drawn by Jim Lee.
Well,
That that was definitely when I started to buy comics, when I had the money,
yeah.
and I fell in love. It became. I wanted to become a comic book artist because of that comic book, because of Jim Lee art. So that was the starting point. X Men, drawn by Jim Lee, written by Chris Claremont, and that was it.
So
That was the starting
obviously,
point.
comics, like you said, or and just art wasn't, you didn't have schools there, and so, like I said, for you, you had to find somebody that was uh, doing it. So what was the big impact that Ed Beans? I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Uh, Bennis. What was the big impact that he had on you in just finding him there?
Yeah. Well, he was like the that. Let's remember that let's see that it was the 90s. There was not internet, so he was like an urban legend.
Oh, okay.
I think is the term. I mean, everybody heard about him. Oh, the guy that worked for American comic books. That was wow. But we didn't know he exists. But sorry. But at some point, I found out he exists, and then I went to his home, and it was it was things were so new that I can't describe my feeling. I mean, it was a strange word because I saw the comic books. I even drew my first comic books on paper, but um, I didn't know about the process.
Hmm.
I didn't know what was inking, what was coloring, what was lettering. So when I met him, it was a whole new world, and it was confusing for me, but it was amazing to see the process.
Well,
I
obviously,
noticed that
now go ahead.
yeah, yeah,
Now I was gonna
yeah. Well,
say,
for example, and well, look, the size of the pages, for example, it was bigger than the comic book. But one thing, the comic books in the American format, in Brazil, it was a smaller format. It was
mm,
almost the size of a manga. Was very small.
yeah,
It's like almost the half the size. So I saw that small comic book and I saw the giant page he was drawing the page. So it was an impact to me. And obviously when I saw him drawing his talent, it was from another world.
yeah, yeah. So, did it surprise you that he was, like really open to sharing and teaching you? Or, I mean, was he what you kind of expected? Or did you have an idea what kind of person he would be like and didn't think that, he would have the time to really help you or what?
Yeah. Well, like any shy people in the world, I am shy person, so we are the weird people. So there was a lot of story about him, but when I finally met him, it was he was shy. He's a little bit shy, but we have a talk and he received me very well. And one important thing that I like to mention, I mean, we live in a small city, so people trust more other people
Yeah.
more than like big cities. But and the thing was that I was there, I'm almost every week, and I could get there. I didn't have to call him to, hey, I'm going there. No, I just appeared, and and he ever received very well, and he was happy because he liked when I was constantly taking drawings because when you're a professor, a teacher, the most rewarding thing is to know that the student is really taking serious,
Yeah.
so I felt that he had that. So and because always taking drawings for him to show and I was improving, he was always happy to receive me there to help me
That's
and this is
good. Like
it.
I
So
say, you can always appreciate somebody that's willing, and I think most professionals, are willing to share their skills, their knowledge, and their talent with, like you said, people that are genuinely interested in learning and wanting to grow. We're gonna take a look at some of Walter's art, and just like I said, when I saw it, I was just kind of taken aback because it's such a great style, and love the artwork. You have, like I said, you have a unique kind of drawing style with the cross hatching that you do. Is that primarily in your personal stuff where you're doing that technique?
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm coughing a lot.
That's okay.
Um, I'm gonna take some water.
Sure, go ahead.
Um,
Like I said, you got
well,
a
this
great
is
style.
yeah, this cross hatching is drawings by this is done with by ballpoint pen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let me take some water here.
No,
Excuse me.
go ahead. Go ahead. As you can see, like I said, he's got such a great style. of work that he does, and just amazing, amazing work. I really like the Rogue here that you can see, and the fact that it's done in ballpoint pen is another
So I'm
thing.
here.
Yeah, we were just going
Yeah,
through, your art there and appreciating, uh, the style of art that you do. Everybody that's just joining on, like I said, we're checking out, and I really like this Wolverine.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
really,
That was done with a ballpoint pen,
oh,
and I I I did from the start to the end with the ballpoint pen, the sketch
amazing.
and everything.
Yeah, I love,
And
love, love.
it
How long did that take you to do?
I don't I don't remember, but it takes some hours.
Like
It
I
takes
said, I
some
love
hours.
the style of it for sure. Um, I mean, were your parents kind of, encouraging with, your passion and what you wanted to do? Let me take this off me here.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, I lost my mother when I was 4,
Oh, okay.
and I was living only with my father, and he then had another family. And I because we are living on another city in the in USA, it's called countryside. So my brothers were living here in the city I'm living now, and it's more a urban city. So with at the age of 11, I live with my brothers.
Yeah. Mm. So were they?
So yeah, they were very supportive. Yeah,
That's good.
very
That's
supportive
um.
because because they saw that there was a guy actually working for the American comic books, but also he was successful at that area, so he was helping me. So it was kind of a possible dream. And my brothers, they are artists too, but
Oh, okay.
just like as a hobby,
Mm.
just as a hobby, not professional. So they were very supportive. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what do you feel like? I mean, what do you feel like the biggest thing you learned while under Ed's tutelage or, teaching? What was it that he really taught you that really helped you the most?
Well, the basics. I learned from the zero. I learned how to, for example, to sketch the page before you finish, do the finish. Even if it's a basic drawing, but we didn't have schools here. We didn't have books. It was hard to find books, how to books
Yeah.
teaching. So so all the basic stuff from drawing I learned with him, and how to do dynamics and expression and storytelling. So the basic of comic books I learned with him.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, do you feel like the education, like more books and things like that, do you feel like that's improving in your country and getting better? Or do you feel like, obviously there's still a long way to go, that you need to get schools there?
Yeah, sure. If we had schools, if we had art teaching in schools, it would be better. But what helped was the internet. It's
Hmm.
basically what the internet we can find tutorials, workshops, everything online. So that helped me a lot. And also in the south part of the country, there it's more developed. It's more like how can I say that? It's the richer part
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
country.
yeah. So they got a lot more access to stuff and got
Yeah,
a, yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
I live in the forest side. I
Yeah.
live in the north.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, and
So
to that point, I mean, that's, I think, uh, a really good thing that there's a lot of, like I said, with the internet, there's a lot of online learning that people all around the world now can get access to. I think that's what makes it so much, you know, so much easier, for people, so they don't have to come to the states or anything like that to get training. And there's people, like I said, all over the world
Yeah.
that are, like I said, now online. Yep. Having a little technical. For everybody that's just joining, we are having a great conversation with my guest and friend, Mr. Walter Giovanni. Let me throw on some. He's getting his camera together there while he does. Mr. Roberta Westwood. Appreciate you. British Columbia, Victoria, British Columbia. Hey, better late than never, I always say. So I appreciate you tuning in and checking out. Oh, he must have had to redial in. So let's see if we can get him in here. His and this was the challenge that we were having, the little technical difficulties that we were having with the show earlier. I'm going to. He had to call in, but his. Are you there? Oh, now he's back. Hold on. Let me see if his. Are you there, Walter? Oh, uh, let's see. Hold on. I am going to try, and his audio is not working, but let's see if we can get him in sound wise. Are you there, Walter?
Yes, can you hear
Okay.
me?
We can hear you, but
Yep.
the video is not working, but we can hear
Yeah.
you. So hey, like I said,
Okay.
we'll probably have to do the rest of the interview uh, audio style. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but hey, uh, the nature of live streaming. What can I say?
Yeah.
So for everybody that's just tuning in, I am here with my guest and friend, Mr. Walter Giovani. We've had to kind of switch it up here because he's video is having some issues, so we're doing old-fashioned audio interview
Yeah.
to get it rolling. So appreciate everybody that's jumping in. Like I said, we've been talking about a lot of his work and just the need for more. Like I said, obviously the need for more in country kind of training. But like I said, with the advent of the internet, it does make it easier for people, that a lot more people, to have access to training and art schools and art, information. Um, for you, what's your process when you start a comic book project? I mean, do you spend time with the writer kind of, fleshing out, or do you already kind of know, kind of the characters, the scenes he's thinking about, or this and that? Is it left up to you to kind of pose and position the scenes?
Yeah. Talking about, for example, I'm working right now on a new project. So what I like to do, first of all, is do the all the pre-production, the design of the characters, and the layouts of the page. I like to do all the layouts of the pages first because I think it's the most important part of the, the process
Yeah.
because it's on the storytelling is visual storytelling is, and that that's what I like to start. Then the finish, if you do a good layout, even if you fail on do good drawings, at least you have a good storytelling. That's the most important part of the comic. And well, usually I'm working with writers that give descriptions of the panels.
Mm-hmm.
but of the pages, the panels, and the story. But I have a lot of freedom to create, to improvise, and actually, it's important because the artists have some freedom because um, all the storytelling will be figured out by the artist. And what I see is that a script is a lot of problems, and my work as a comic book artist is to solve the problems. So I bring solutions, and it's like, for example, if you have script page one, panel one, Superman drinking coffee on a building, the top of a building. Well, it sounds simple, but you have a page with, for example, 5 panels. All what you're gonna draw on this panel, it will affect on the other panels. So you have to think the size, how much of the character is important to show, if it's a close up of him drinking, or you're gonna show a mid shot, or you're gonna draw him full body. But these things all depends on the other panels. So there's a lot of complicated. You have to think of the camera. Where's the camera? Because there's a rule, the 180 rule.
Yeah.
You can't freely move the camera. You have a limit. There's some rules. So when you decide on the first panel to put that camera, it will affect on the other panels. So um it's important that the writer understand that he will write the story, and he trusts the artist to tell the story. Because if he tries too much to dictate the image he wants, it might not work on
Yeah.
the storytelling. So I had the look to work with writers that give me a lot of freedom. And sometimes the writer comes with 4 panel pages, 4 panels page, and you have to turn into a 7 page panel pages. You
Mm-hmm.
have to add 3 panels because the storytelling won't be clear in the in those 4 panels. But it's teamwork. Comics is teamwork. So the writer, if he write the story, and if he had a good storyteller, the artist, he will give him freedom or give her freedom to tell the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is basically my process. I like to always think of the story. I don't when I receive the script. Sometimes the writer wants uh, an angle from above, but if I don't think that tells the story, the scene well, and I need a low angle scene, I will change that. I will
So,
change that because when he sees that it's better, he won't argue. So
yeah. So it's a collaborative process of you and the writer working together
yeah,
to get the best result. Again, everybody that's just jumping on, like I said, we were having a little technical difficulties with Walter's camera, so I kind of improvised. Have his image in here, but we have Walter on audio while we're doing the interview. So this is going to be a little different show. But hey, this is the nature of live streaming and doing it live. So we just roll with it. We got a user here. He learned drawing the comics. I got that book too. Drawing the Marvel way.
yeah.
Drawing comics the Marvel way. Very good book for sure. And enjoy it. It's really good. For you, is that what's the most challenging part of drawing comics? Is it the collaboration with the writer trying to get the best angle, the best shot, or is there some other things that are kind of more challenging than others when you're doing a comic?
Yeah. First of all, about those technical problems, yeah, I like to apologize because of
No.
that. Actually, I was hired to do a class on a online school, but I had to decline because of this, because I couldn't guarantee that it will work.
The internet, like I said, there that the internet is really challenging in some areas, which is why, like I said, I still appreciate, the fact that he comes on and shares. Uh, Again, for everybody that is just joining and checking out the show, like I said, we are kind of working through. Oh wow, publish. Let me publish that. We are kind of working through just some of the technical issues that Walter is experiencing, and that's kind of the. Hopefully, he'll be back. Let me see. And that's kind of the one of the overriding, I guess, issues when you're talking about other countries, just internet access and internet issues, which makes it even that much more harder to, like I said, when you're in not living in the U.S. and have to get access to the internet. Sometimes in some areas it's you know much better than other areas. Um, he hopefully he'll sign back on. He had to sign off. There he is. And let's see if we got him here. Mr. Walter, are you back again? Hopefully we could hear you. Let me know. I don't know why he doesn't. Why? Let's see. It's not letting me put him in. Oh, and he had to sign back off again. So, like I said, this is kind of the nature of live streaming. Are you there, Walter? Let's see if we can get you in. I don't know why it's not letting me assign him. Or hold on, maybe I need to. Let's see. Walter, are you there? Let me try and hit him in the chat here. I'm not sure why it's not letting me bring him in. Says he's in the green room, but for some reason it's not letting me bring him in. And it might be because of his connection. He can hear us. I just saw in the chat he can hear. The mute is. You might have to unmute it on your end because it doesn't let me unmute it on my end. Host, yes, you should be. Hold on the sign placeholder. Let me try it again. Okay. Uh, Walter.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
there he is. I think
Now
I.
it's working. Yep.
Yes, it is. That was my mistake. I had to unassign you and then assign you back in. Video still out, but we can hear you, so that's the most important thing, for
Yep.
sure. Um, like I was saying that. Well, I mean, obviously that's and I was just talking about the internet and having access to the internet in some areas, and I know in some remote areas or rural areas the internet is you know not of course not as great as in other areas as well. I'm assuming that and sure that you're hoping that you know as time goes on, it'll get a lot better in your area. Do you find that there are a lot of artists such as yourself in, say, your town, in your small town?
Yeah, yeah. Well, because of Ed Menis, and he not only taught me, he was receiving other artists at his home. We have a bunch of artists learning from here, learning from him,
Mm,
and after a few years, he created his own studio. I wasn't part of it. I was working on by myself,
yeah.
but he created his Eddie Benz studio where he had a lot of students. So there's a lot of artists where I live. They are more like doing illustration and selling art, just selling original art. But that they are also doing comic books, some of them. But in my state, I live in my city. Is the city that there's more artists of the entire state.
No, yeah. So, I mean, is traditional art, would you say traditional art is big, or like I said, do you find that there are a lot of like comic book and like comic illustrators, or is the illustrators that are there more kind of traditional illustration and that type of thing?
Uh, I mean, there are more illustrators. Actually, there's a whole market of original art that you can sell on eBay. So there 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 are there are a lot of artists who just do pinups, you
Mm,
know, just the characters, and they put on sale on eBay. I sell myself some arts on eBay. For example, that Wolverine
yeah.
I sold on eBay. So, but I live working on comics. But there are people who just do that type of art, just original art for
Yeah.
sale.
Yeah. Well, have you found that um, like I said, having your social pages, like you said at the beginning, you didn't feel like sharing your art on like LinkedIn and some of the others. Do you find like having your website and sharing on social pages, has that kind of increased work for you? Um, or is a lot of what you're doing now locally? Is it here in the states, or kind of where is it kind of based out of? A lot of the work that you're doing.
Basically, all the work I do is for USA. It's
Okay.
for American comic books, and on social media, when I start to share on LinkedIn my art, yeah, I had a lot of offers. Yeah, like I never did before.
Mm,
I had to turn them down because I was already working,
mm,
So, but there are offers. It's a I found out that I was using Facebook and Twitter, but Twitter and it's cool, but Facebook is more about likes.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't get. I'm not saying that you can get a job on Facebook. Yes, yes, you can. I did, but the cool thing about LinkedIn is because it's a place for people that are searching for work,
Mm,
but
yeah.
also people who are searching to hire people for work. So when I started to share my more and more my artwork on LinkedIn, I got some offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I recommend to any artist. And one thing, just share the work. Yeah, I mean, what an editor or a writer wants to see is your art. You can say a lot, write a lot, but what really matters is what we show
Yeah.
at your drawing
Yeah. And I
with your
think
drawing.
I think also what would be good for you is Instagram would be another great channel for you. to share your work because it's such a visual platform. And like I said, people definitely get a lot from that. And I want to show again some of Walter's work, and I'm going to use this scene here. But I am going to unmute Walter so we can hear him. But like I said, the work that oops, let me that Walter does. Like I said, I love this Wolverine. I definitely love and just the pose of it. Just some, like I said, amazing work for sure. So I mean, does it typically take you, like say this page here, penciling out this page here? How many drafts do you usually go through before you kind of feel like you've got it down?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's right on the first, but it's like two or three tryouts of layouts before I get to this, because the first thing I read the script, I try to understand, so I put the first idea on paper,
Mm-hmm.
but then I have to visualize if that drawings, if that layout is telling the story that I just read. So I, first try it, and I think, can I do better? So I do another one and then another one, and sometimes it happens that the first is the better. Yeah,
Mm.
so, but like say two, three, or even four try um, layouts, thumbnails. I do to get the result I want.
Yeah, till you get it to where you want is the key for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what I mean for you, looking at somebody that's coming into the industry or would like to get into industry, what would be your advice that you would give someone um, if they were thinking of doing what you do, being a comic book artist?
Yeah. Let's start by the point that I see of many young artists that they avoid the basic of drawing.
Hmm.
I mean, you need to know the basic of drawing because it's basic. It's already called basic. It's something you need to know, and storytelling. It's the most important thing. You need to study storytelling. There are books out there, and you can look on the, and it's important to know what's happening if you're trying to get a job. It's something I learned early, and now I'm learning again to what's going on, what's going on, what artists are the superstars today, are top talents. So because the publisher will hire you for two reasons. You have, you do a job that's very similar to what's happening on top talent. It's like music, what's going on, it's rap music, it's what. So you don't have to copy, but it's like you follow that word. It's like when everybody started to use auto tune on music.
Yeah.
Everybody, I, I watched this documentary of the first guy that actually used, and people were attacking. But then years after, everybody was using. So
Yeah.
it's something like that. So you need to pay attention what's going on,
Yeah.
what's popular, because even if you don't get a job at the big two, the other publisher are following the same, following the same rules. Or the second option is that it's a little bit harder, is that you draw something that you call attention of the editors. But how how do you do it? Well, I don't know, because not not even the editor knows. He will see and, wow, this guy, he's bringing something new to the game. this girl it's bringing something new to the game and then hire you. So I think these three things, and promote your
Yeah.
promote. Don't be afraid to share the same page again, because artists, there's something about artists that they post one image and then they never post anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like in music. Somebody might hear, want to hear again, want to see again,
Yeah.
and somebody that never saw before
Yeah.
will see now. So
Th-
share your work, and that's it. And be patient, because I mean, it's a little bit wild,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So do you?
And
No,
just
go ahead.
just what just one last tip: self-publishing, make your own comics.
Mm,
And if you can do 100 pages, do a 5 page story,
yeah.
and you put
Yeah.
online. If you're good, and if it gets attention, an editor will see. At one point he will see, and you will ask you what you have more, and then you show. So make your own. That a mistake I did in the last years, that I didn't bet too much on my personal stuff, that I'm trying to fix that now. But lots of artists got hired by Marvel and DC and other publisher, because not because they did samples or tests and got hired, but because they did their own comic,
Yeah.
and the editor saw, oh, this is cool,
Yeah.
you're good,
Yeah.
come here, work with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're an artist and not per se a writer, then you're going to need to team up with a writer that will, write the comic along, or work with you in creating the comic. Um, is that something that you think about, or do you pretty much want to just stick to the artwork and creating the art? I mean, do you have ideas of comics that you write down, or at least in the future plan on putting out there?
Yeah, I have some ideas, and I already contact writers that are a friend of mine now, and I don't have the time right now, but eventually we're gonna work. I had the idea, I sent the idea to them, and we talked, and then it came out the script, and at some point we're gonna finish that comic book. I think if you find a writer, a partner, somebody who you can trust, really,
Yeah,
it's very important, because a good story is important.
yeah, yeah.
People will read it, and
And not every artist, like I said, I've had on a lot of comic book artists who's, like I said, they're not strictly a writer, but they do work with somebody else that helps them kind of craft the stories and really put it together, because it's hard doing it by yourself and trying to kind of put a comic out there uh, you know on your own. We're gonna throw another comment, Roberta. Yeah, I've not thought about that before. Reshare your work. People might not want to see it. People might want to see it again. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like you got it, because you don't know. Not every you're not gonna know when everybody is online and when everybody has the time to see that, which is kind of like the show. Not everybody is going to be able or going to be home to watch the show. So sharing it, having the putting it back up is definitely going to keep it out there to where, like I said, people will come to see it eventually, and just continue to do work and continue to post your work, and keep it in a regular cycle. Definitely goes a long way. You obviously seem to love drawing kind of superhero characters and kind of like the Marvel way. Do you ever think of drawing other styles of or other genres of comics? Say like, you know, I don't know, just a regular kind of slapstick comic book, or do you feel like your style of drawing is best suited for like the Marvel, superhero kind of comics?
Yeah. Actually, I only drew a comic book that had a superhero. It wasn't for Marvel. It was for Dynamite, the Death Defying Devil. It was the actually it's the original Daredevil, and in 2019, and it was the only comic book. I love superhero. I love to draw, but I didn't have the chance to. I wasn't hired to draw. So most of the work I did was sword and sorcery, Red
Mm,
Sonja.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Conan, and I did a horror book. It was Unclean Room. I did sci-fi. It was Kill Switch. It's futuristic. It's sci-fi, but superhero I haven't drawn yet because I love it. But I mean I like to draw other genre. I like to draw romance. I would like if there was a book like that. I mean, I like to tell a story.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even if the stories are not mine, created by me, but I like to tell the story. So the emotion and create this scene. I just drew uh, um, ar- an issue of a comic book, and it was it. The first issue, the superhero doesn't appear, but it's interesting because there are two friends and they're talking about the change of life and thing. I can't spoil the thing, but
Yeah, we don't want you to spoil it, but
I
yeah.
right right now I'm starting a comic book that it's like sci-fi and horror,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but the character is a comic book artist.
yeah.
It's a, but it's very interesting. I like to tell story. I like to draw comics. That's the thing. I love to draw comics. I
Oh,
don't care what it is. Sometimes the writer would come to me. Oh, what you want to draw? And well, I don't know. Bring me what you
Bring
have.
me a story. Let's
Yeah,
go from there.
yeah, I like to. That's the thing. I love comic books. I love the art of comic books.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like I said in the beginning, and I love to draw comic books. I don't care if it's action or if it's romance.
yeah.
You know,
Gotcha.
it's
So, where do you kind of see yourself, going in, say, 5 years from now? I mean, do you have kind of a ultimate goal of where you would like to be in 5 or so years?
yeah. My wife hates me because she asked me the same thing, and I don't have an answer for that.
I think
She
every wife says, "What's your 5 year plan?"
Yeah, well, I don't know because it's true. I don't see it. I just I just I just
Well,
try
I
to
mean,
get better.
would you aspire to say draw for Marvel or do something for Marvel, or are you just, like I said, open to? I just want to whatever the story, just good stories. It doesn't necessarily, because there are some like artists, animators. Their goal is to get in Disney or to get into a big studio or something like that, as opposed to just kind of say freelancing and working on a lot of different projects with different creators and things like that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I don't see myself in 5 years, but I plan to work at DC or Marvel because I want to draw superhero, and well, that's the thing about mainstream in area. Your work will be seen if you work at this company.
Yeah,
If you're doing underground, you have a limited public, a limited amount of people that will actually see your work.
yeah,
Sometimes somebody add me on follow me on Twitter or Instagram. They say, "Oh, I didn't know your work."
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so it's cool. Well, part of it, of actually great part of it is because not working for a big company, people don't see, just don't see. You know, it's like being a musician and not appear on MTV. Like,
Well, like I said,
it's,
you got there's so many different options of like I said, what you can do and being able to get your work out there. I'm gonna make sure I get this right. A19. Hopefully, I got that right. Let's see what he says. I'll make sure I put that in. Right, A19. What are the opportunities for a company to diversify their brand, to build a legacy following with customers that can't yet purchase or our products via toys, comics, etc.? We make EVTOL aircraft, virtual. I'm not sure what EVTOL is. If you can elaborate that on A19. But yeah, there are, like I said, a lot of different, opportunities and things that you can get into just selling your artwork. Um, Now there's NFTs that give you the opportunity to get your work out there and get seen and get sold. There's just so many great ways of doing that. Do you, like I said, you a lot of your personal work you seem to do in ballpoint pen. Is that kind of just something medium you love to one of the mediums you love to use, or just the kind of go to when you're just doing your own work?
yeah. Um, the ballpoint pen is it's my favorite tool to work, but the thing about it, it's because it's not practical. I mean, you can work faster. It's a little bit. I inked some issues, some comic book issues with ballpoint, but it's a bit slow. But it's my favorite tool because um, it's like other tools. You just draw the line and that's it. So the to be clear, the ballpoint pen, it makes me looks like a pencil. You
Yeah,
can,
that's what I thought it was when I first looked
yeah,
at it. I thought, oh, there's some nice pencil cross action here.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's it. But I do that more to relax because I like, because I've been doing a lot of digital work. Most of the work I do professionally is digital, because I had to switch because of a lot of reasons. So just to relax, I do this ballpoint pen
mm,
drawings. It's just to relax. And traditional medium, no matter how practical is digital medium,
yeah.
for me to work traditionally is way better. It's about the feel of doing the thing. I don't know why. I
Well,
saw other artists say the same thing. They do digital because it's faster, but they prefer to do traditional.
well, yeah. I think traditional is kind of like I said. Always seems to be the starting point. And I know a lot of which was the thing with me. It was a really kind of difficult transition, especially if you don't have like a Cintiq where you're drawing directly on the screen and you got like a tablet and you're still having to look up at the screen to see the drawing. That there was this kind of disconnect. I mean, have you dabbled in, say, like digital drawing yet? Like on a tablet, or like I said, that's just kind of something that you just haven't gotten into yet.
Uh, no, I do digitally. I don't know if I understood your question, but I think I work on I don't work on a Cintiq. I had a Cintiq, but I'm working on a tablet,
Mm,
on a
okay.
Huion.
Yeah.
and right on the screen. I remember I had those tablets that colorists use, and you don't draw on the screen, and I had trouble getting used to it. It's
Nah,
not easy.
well, like I said, it seems a lot easier than it would be to say a traditional tablet that's not not the screen of having to look. Because like I said, that was my kind of thing I had to work through was just okay looking down drawing, but still having to look up at the screen to see my drawing and stuff. Whereas I know a lot of artists and illustrators, like I said, you know, are using a Cintiq or something like that, where they're just drawing and painting directly on the screen, and it seems to work. I would think a little bit better than just the regular tablet of non-connected tablet. But I do love digitally drawing for sure. Uh, for everybody, like I said, who's just joining in, we this is a little bit different show today because my guest and friend, Mr. Walter Geovani, we are with comic book artist. Was having a little video technical difficulties, but we do have him here on audio, and I kind of improvised and have his picture here. But we're having a great talk and have had a great talk about just his journey. Um, do you see um, comic book and just the industry in general really getting bigger in your country and in your town?
Well, I it's really complicated here because we have, for example, like I said, on the south part, it's richer.
Yeah.
So there's more independent creators. They are
Mm,
publishing their comic books, and in as far as I know, uh, he- on that area, people buy comics and they producing and buying. I don't know if they're making a living of
mm,
it. Maybe some do, but but those comics doesn't get here because we have a serious problem of distribution. I
mm,
think that's the word.
yeah. Yeah.
So the comic books that are produced there doesn't get here, and here we don't produce too much in this part
Yeah.
of the country.
Yeah.
We don't produce too much because it's hard to produce comic books,
Yeah.
to do your own comic books. It's hard. I mean, you see, you take one day to draw one page, and how can you make a living of that? So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. For
unless,
sure.
unless you're working for a company that pays you,
Yeah.
then you can hardly. But even though it's hard, there's one. This guy is a legend. It's Mauricio de Souza. He created the Monica's Gang.
Mm,
It's popular in some other countries
yeah.
too, but here in Brazil it's very popular. And the guy is a genius because his books are in all over the country. So he has distribution
Yeah.
for his comics for decades.
Yeah.
It's like I said, in other countries, they are popular. But the thing about the specifically the this he's like Walt Disney. Walt Disney has this style. So if you want to work for him, you have to have that style,
That
that
style.
specific style.
Yeah.
So I mean, the people who work, as far as I know, the people that work for him, they are well paid.
Mm,
I mean, they make a living, a good living.
yeah.
But if you have a different style and you're producing comics, but it's very complicated. You ask me if I see a future. I don't see a future, not so close, because we have this problem in distribution. And to and anything about art, you have to have somebody that pays. I mean, if you're gonna make a movie, you have to have a producer,
Yeah, yeah,
because how are you gonna make? So if you're gonna make a comic book, um, you have to have a Marvel, a Dynamite. But there's another thing. When you're producing comic book in USA, your own comic book, you go to conventions, right?
yeah,
And you
yeah,
sell it.
yeah,
I know creators, they sell their comics.
yeah.
But that's another thing here. There's not too much conventions here.
Conventions, yeah, yeah. And I know, like a lot of comic, artists, they go to a ton of conventions during the year, all over. Like you said, selling their comic books and really trying to get, um, their comics out there. It takes a lot, and like you said, if you don't have the distribution behind you, which, like I said, for comic book artists, unless they're working with Marvel or another company, or like I said, a distribution company, they're out on the comic comic convention trail. You know.
Yeah, if somebody decides to do the thing about doing the distribution, the things will change. I believe. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the hope we have. But that's the major problem
Yeah. Yeah.
here. Who knows what happens in the future?
Well, like I said, in the future, I think, and as technology gets better, internet access gets a whole lot better, and just kind of expands it for a lot of places that wouldn't normally get it. I think it's going to make it a whole lot better for everybody. Again, everybody that's just tuning in, like I said, we've had just a great conversation with my guest and friend, Mr. Walter Geovani, comic book artist extraordinaire. Miss Roberta throws in there, what's changing with COVID? Are those conferences going online? Some of them are, but then I've seen, you know, I've heard from other, some of the comic book artists that I've had on, they're still hitting conventions, so depending on what area they're in, some of them are still going on, you know. I'm pretty sure as things are starting to get kicked back up with, as far as the virus and just COVID, they may start shutting them back down. But as far as I know, and not too long ago, like I said, some of the artists that, like I said, were even on the show are still hitting, some conventions. So I think conventions, are still kind of are going on in some areas, depending on if it's a hot spot or not. So um, it's kind of a thing. You just kind of take it as it goes. I'm pretty sure they have, an online portion of it to where people that aren't comfortable coming out are still able to experience the convention if they do have it in person, that type of thing. But as far as I know, Roberta, yeah, a lot of them are still kind of going on in person, you know. And they may shut that down. They may change it. You never know. Uh, like I said, we've had the best time aside from just like I said, technical little difficulties that we've had, but that's the nature of one, technology, and two, live streaming. You
Yeah.
roll with it, you know.
Let me ask you: am I the first comic book artist that you got here?
No, I've had several. Like I said, I've had a lot of comic book artists on here. Uh, and if you go back through some of my episodes, Marcus Williams, super talented comic book artist, out of I think Atlanta. Him and his partner, they got a great comic book called the Tuskegee. Man, Tuskegee Air. Oh man, Tuskegee Airmen. It's about the Tuskegee Airmen, but set kind of in a futuristic future style. But it's a great comic book, and I know they go to a lot of comic book conventions.
Yeah.
Newton Lavaloy, he does a lot of like vampire and horror comics type
Yeah.
of thing. He's more the writer than he is the artist, I think. But I know, like I said, I have some here. Uh, Brian Williams, but they're pretty much writers, but they're working with comic book artists to
Cool.
produce their stories.
Cool.
And like I said, I know a lot of them are still doing the comic book conventions to
Yeah.
to get their story out there. Plus they do illustration work and like I said, Brian and you know some of the other ones, Robert, Jeffrey are still, writing and doing other projects with stuff like that. But, they're working on their projects and still, like I said, hitting the conventions. So I've had
Cool.
quite a few comic book artists and comic book writers on the show.
Cool.
And like I said, it's just the nature of the business and the work that you do, unless you're working for, like I said, say Marvel or some other big place, you're having to sell and get your work out there through social media, your website, through conventions. Obviously, conventions are a big thing for comic book artists. I guess that would probably be their biggest kind of revenue in really marketing tool, getting a table. But then, like I said, that it's going to cost them to do, but it's a great way, and they get exposure that way. So I know, like I said, Marcus and his partner have gotten a lot of exposure. They constantly posting work on social media. So it's a all inclusive type of thing where you have to just use all the channels that you can have access to and feel work for you, and just getting your artwork out there.
Yeah.
Um, but like you said, I think in your case, because you don't have uh, like comic conventions there, that really does kind of hinder a lot of people kind of getting into that space, because they'd end up having to travel over here or to other places that are having the convention.
Yeah. Well, we have here in Brazil, we have two big comic conventions: Comic Con Experience and FIQ. And but it happens once in a year, each one. And when it happens, people produce their comic and they sell.
Mm,
If we had this kind of convention in a regular basis,
yeah,
all over the country, or at least because Brazil is big, but if we had, I mean, it would it would be easier to creators to make their comics and sell, and I mean, it would be more productive,
yeah, yeah,
what we have here. But for like I said, when you go to south, I mean, there's some small events, some small shows,
yeah.
and they sell. They find a way to sell. I don't know much. I
And hopefully
didn't
they'll
go.
get more. Like I said, hopefully that'll be something, like I said, that changes. And obviously it's going to have to, kind of come from you, the artist, that really kind of push the kind of the needle in the envelope of yeah, this is what we want. Because I know it was kind of the same thing. Uh, I've had several artists from the islands, like Jamaica, and some of and I've been to some of the festivals, online. Jamaican King's Tune Festival, which, like I said, is a festival for um, you know artists, animators, cartoon, comic books type of thing. But that's really, they're really pushing that in the country is something that they're wanting to have. So it's gonna have to kind of come like from a grassroots sort of perspective of this is what we want, this is what we need. And this is what we crave as to them starting to do more and more creators coming together to put these conventions, because I guess that's kind of really how it starts. I know Comic Con started out small when they first, I
Yeah.
guess first
Yeah.
started, and then it just grew, and it grows from there. We got a comic book convention here in Houston, Comic Palooza, or it's not comic book, but it's comics. It's Comic Palooza, which, like I said, you see a lot of comic book artists and writers have tables selling their art, and just illustrators selling their artwork.
Yeah.
It's a great revenue for them. I'm sure it's a lot of work hitting convention, following conventions around and going to, convention after convention, but trying, if you find those right ones that you're able to get into, you like you said, you can make money, and get exposure at the same time for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Miss Roberta, throw you another comment. Was wondering if that might create new opportunity. It does, like I said, because they not only are going to sell their artwork in their books and their comics, but you never know who may be walking through the convention, a producer, director, something like that, that just helps you get connected, even more. So for them, it's you know, I'm guessing mainly for revenue, but it's also exposure. It gets their comics out there in the hands of their fans, and like I said, just like you know producers and uh, companies are looking online for talent. They're going, some of them are going to these conventions. Some of them like going to the conventions, and they're going to come across, a book or artist that, hey, I like this art. I like these stories that you're telling. Let's talk. So it does open up other opportunities other than just selling their artwork, I'm sure, with just the people that are into conventions and into comic books. So it's a great way. And like I said, hopefully that's something that will, change in your country, that you'll start to get more because, like I said, it's only going to benefit you for sure. Uh, like I said, well, guys, we've had just the best conversation with my friend Walter. Uh, and I hope that and I'm going to jump over to this scene, only because, like I said, as you can see, this was kind of a different format for us
Yeah.
today. Audio format. I have to kind of keep telling that it's an audio format, and people might tune in and say, "He's not moving." His video,
Yeah.
his video's not moving. It's not
You
a
guys.
video. Walter was having video issues, so we kind of switched it up a little and just done an audio kind of thing. But I had an image of him that I threw into the scene to kind of make it better. So that you wouldn't be looking at me the whole time and hearing Walter talk. But
Yeah.
this makes it a whole lot better for sure. Let's see. We're gonna throw in a few more comments before we close it out. Will a recording of this video be available? I haven't started. That's something that I'm working on for 2022, is porting these shows over to audio, uh, for sure, and getting kind of podcast style. And I think like I said, LinkedIn is rolling out their audio platform. So it's in beta testing right now. So once they roll that out, I'm thinking of a way to kind of, at least LinkedIn wise, kind of tying the audio into the show. But that, again, is something that I am working on for 2022, is kind of porting the color of motion on into podcast style. So I appreciate you saying that may be down for that. I know everybody's not gonna watch the video. Some people just like listening. So I definitely want to do that. it worked fine as oh that's not the one I wanted to show Roberta. It worked fine as you had visuals of his art. Yes, like I said, he does some amazing artwork for sure. Uh, Definitely, if uh, you want to make sure, like I said, typically I would have Walter up with in this scene as well, but make sure that you connect with Walter on his uh, social channels. Here you can find him. Oh, whoa. You can find him on Instagram. Yeah, you are on Instagram. You know, like I said,
Yeah.
Instagram. I would think Instagram would be really good
Yeah.
for
Oh,
you.
just one correction. When you go on my Instagram, make sure you put an underline after Giovanni,
Oh, okay. Let me
because
correct that too.
because
Uh,
because because if you go on this account, you go to an account of a very hot guy, and that's not definitely.
he say that's not me. Oh man. So I think I got it right. And you had the same thing for Twitter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, he is on Instagram. Make sure you do put the underscore at the end of Giovanni. Otherwise, like I said, it's some other hot guy on there that isn't Walter there. Not saying that you're not a hot guy, Walter. You're very good looking in there, but that is not Walter. So make sure that you put an underscore after Giovanni on his Instagram and Twitter. He also is on DeviantArt, which has a lot more work of his that I didn't show. So you can find him at WG Pencil. Of course, all of this information is going to be in the show notes, uh, on YouTube. So you'll definitely be able to go there and get the link to connect with him from there as well. Walter, if you could hang out in the green room for a minute while I close out the show, I would very much appreciate that if you are able to. If you're not, if you aren't able to, I understand as always. But if you could hang out in the green room while I close out the show, I'd appreciate it.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh, every
First,
No,
I'd
go
like to
ahead.
thank I'd like to thank Roberta. She said great work. Thanks for sharing. Thank you
Yes.
very much for the kind words, and I hope you like and see more of what I'm gonna show. Let me try again by my cell phone. It's being a trouble
No worries.
because
Like I said, we
I
we've
mean I
heard
mean
you.
these things happens to me. It's not a
Trust me, Walter. We understand how technology happens and things happen. So please don't feel like bad or anything like that. Like I said, it's the nature of technology and it's the nature of live streaming. Things happen,
yeah,
technology happens. So we all
yeah.
understand that. Mister, I'm assuming this is A19. Also, can you answer my question before that because I get disconnected on my cell if you did. I'm not sure. Like I said, I saw your question, but I wasn't sure what EVTOL was. But you can, with let's see. I'm going to throw up his other comment. I'm assuming this is him. Where are the opportunities for a company to diversify their brand to build a legacy? I would say the start is, um, you know, using your social channels. You have social channels that really promote your brand and what it is that you're doing. If it's toys, comics, whatever, you got to have social channels, whether it's be your website where they can purchase it, see more of your work, using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the other social channels to drive people to your website. That's how you're going to diversify and make money to where, like I said, people can go there, learn more about your work, follow your work, and really start to purchase your work. That would be my advice.
Yeah, I I second that. Uh, Don, I really need to apologize, but I'm trying to connect again,
No,
but
don't
unfortunately
worry
this
about
time.
don't worry about trying to connect again, Walter. Like I said, it's understandable, and this was great. I had a great conversation, and I'm definitely, like I said, going to work to bring you back during this year. Have you come on because I know you'll be doing more work, new
Yep.
work, and just want to share it. So, like I said, this was great, and we had a great time, great conversation, and definitely, like I said, looking forward to having you back on the show for sure. So,
Sure,
all is good, Walter. All is good.
sure.
But again, like I said, if you could hang out in the green room while I close out the show, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just not understand this green room.
Well, I'm gonna throw you. Like when we first came on, we were talking in the, like I said, you were in the green room. You're back behind stage. They won't see you or hear you or anything, but you'll still be just stay logged in. That's what I mean when you're in the green
Oh,
room, but you're
yeah,
not
yeah,
on the
yeah. Okay,
platform.
okay, okay. Yeah, I will stay.
Uh,
Uh, can I say just
sure.
it's soon I will be publishing my co-created and on the comics. Back in 2007, me and two friends from here, from my city, and we created a comic book called Andrea D, and it was published independent form in USA, but only two issues. It was a total of three issues, but only the publisher could only um, publish two issues, and they bankrupt or something. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're gonna try to make a crowdfunding. We have all the story complete, so we're gonna relaunch that, and it's a Brazilian character, and it's and and we wanted to relaunch it because to have to complete it, and maybe in the future we will make another
And
story.
definitely by the hopefully, like I said, when I get you back on, you'll have it completed, and we'll be able to really showcase and highlight that. But if you do have, like I said, links to where they could find the first two
Yeah,
issues or anything like that, I could definitely put it in, include that in the show notes as well, to where they can find out more information about Andrea D, for sure. But definitely looking forward to seeing more of that and finally having that come to fruition as
yeah,
well. Everybody,
great.
again, please help me thank my friend and guest, Mr. Walter Giovanni. Again, Walter, if you could just hang out for a second
Yeah,
while I close out the show, I really would appreciate it there. So thanks, Walter. I appreciate you taking the time. No worries about the technical issues. That just it happens and things come up, but we rolled with it, and like I said, in grand style. So
yeah.
thanks again, Walter. Hang out for just a second, and we will close out this show. So everybody, please help me thank my friend and guest Walter again.
And thank everybody who watched,
All
who
right.
stayed with us, and that's it.
All
Thank you very much.
right. All right. Well, this was a different style. Like I said, kind of got me in the frame of mind of audio style. So it definitely was a good, I think it was a good thing. And definitely kind of got me thinking in different ways about a few things. So I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. You know, technical issues and things like that aside, I think it was a great show. And again, had a great time sitting down talking with my friend Walter there, who does, again, some amazing work. So make sure that you do get connected with him and check out more of his work. You definitely, you know, want to stay plugged in because he's got some great new things planned for sure. But I appreciate everybody that's tuned in, will check out the show, and has always supported the show. Like I said, it was fun, and we had a great time for sure. So, like I said, season 2 is motoring along, and it's only going to get better from here. So, uh, um, hang on. It's going to be a fun, fun ride. Make sure that you tune in next week because I got another great guest lined up. We're going to have some fun with my friend and guest, Mr. Coffee Afosu, illustrator and character designer straight out of the motherland. I've been connecting with a lot of great talent from Africa, the motherland. So I'm super excited to be sitting down with him and checking out more of his work and sharing his journey through the industry as well. So, with that, I think this is a wrap for episode 3. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Not what we expected, but we got a great deal out of it as well. So, like I said, it was a great show. Make sure you tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, because you're not going to want to miss the show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Cheers.